Hi, everybody. Welcome to Enchantment Divinations, where I explore what we need to know and learn in order to embrace our divine nature. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I would like to start off by really demonstrating through my prayers and my focus and my intention that I desire to pull cards for the overall potential of our planet to ascend right now, what we need to know with respect to racial unrest, COVID, political matters, etc. So, the first card I want to pull after I pray over the cards is simply about what we need to embrace. And then the next card will be what we need to let go of in order to advance to higher dimensional consciousness. So, as I pray, I will set the intention. Thank you, Spirit, for allowing me to be able to present these messages. Please cleanse, consecrate, heal, and bless the decks I will be using. And just show your infinite grace and mercy, Spirit, and watch over us continuously, for we know that you are an enigmatic beauty and that you, Spirit, connect us all. And so it is. Amen. So the first card I want to choose is from the Goddess Guidance deck. So what do we need to embrace as a collective? What do we need to step into? What do we need to accept into our lives? I'm shuffling on camera. This one. Compassion, Kuan Yin. Oh, that's beautiful. Release judgments about yourself and others and focus on the love and light that is within everyone. That's so powerful. I am not surprised that that is what came out for this part of the reading. I'm going to read it again. Compassion, Kuan Yin. Release judgments about yourself and others and focus on the love and light that is within everyone. So that's really telling because ultimately, when we see that someone else is in a state of maybe crisis or there's some kind of big event that's happened in their life, say somebody's passing away or, someone just got, identified as uh, being, COVID uh, quarantined or whatever, and just to see everybody in that radiant light, to see that we are all source energy, that is so important because in order to empathize, even just sympathize with another's experience, we need to, I believe, see them as a whole perfect being as we are. So, and then the next card I want to look at is one that represents what we need to let go of as a collective in order to more readily transcend. And I'm using just the Rider-Waite Smith deck. Spirit, what do we need to let go of? This one. Okay, so we need to let go of any resistance to our ego with the Strength card. So the Strength card is really uh, about spiritual fortitude. It's about taming and training our ego to serve our aims and our goals and our dreams. And so I think we need to let go of like resistance to dealing with that part of us because ultimately ego is a part of us for a reason. And we just need to, surrender our need to control so many things about our lives and just really embrace what we see as our potential. And strength also implies that we need to look at our weaknesses as whole beings who know that these are teaching moments that we're experiencing. Teaching moments like the as I like to say that, Mother Earth is experiencing birth pangs as her children, humanity, are going through their growing pains. So that is a resonant idea that really can shed light on all concerned, um, that we do emit electromagnetic force. Like, for example, even when like 9/11 happened, right? The Schumann resonance, which encompasses our any kind of charge that we emit, that that ratio spiked when 9/11 happened. And as well as when Princess Diana died, all these different big events that we felt emotionally and spiritually and mentally in our being, those were able to be measured on a scale that even scientists could understand. Sorry, that's my dog at the door. Sorry about that. So ultimately, what we need to embrace is compassion, and what we need to let go of is the sense that we need to just be so, highly aware of every single part of our lives. One of the many blessings of life is that we don't know what's around the corner. So if this woman in the strength card with the infinity symbol above her head can be that compassionate, loving nurturer to this lion who has a toothache, that can be us in relation to our beloved kin, our people who are in a shadow state. I mean, I read recently that the whole world is doing intense shadow work right now, and I couldn't agree with that more. So, the next card I want to pull from the Star Tarot by Kathy McClelland, and I want that to be about what Spirit wants us to know regarding how to be more loving, compassionate in home environments. When we're at home, when we're, spending time with our families, what can we understand about how to best feel content when we're confined? This one. Okay, Four of Pentacles. That makes a lot of sense. So, really, Four of Pentacles is that energy of keeping your space, your home. Pentacles is about home and hearth and career and finance. Keeping that sense protected, you know, really, and also being financially responsible is another Four of Pentacles key theme. And to really be embracing of where we stand right here, right now, not necessarily so outreaching, but just feeling comfortable with where we are. Another way of seeing the Four of Pentacles, because in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, he's got the pentacles under his feet and then one over his heart and one over his head. And so that could mean that sometimes in our home and family life, we're keeping too close to ourselves and guarding ourselves from our potential. So that's not surprising to me at all either, because really, when we are a little bit complacent, we, don't necessarily have the wherewithal to embrace new journeys because we're so content and like situated where we are. So I would like to get one more card from the Star Tarot about the same question about how we can best stay at home and be abundant at home while we're isolated. Okay, so the Nine of Swords, that means that, the pain and affliction of, feeling so isolated, that could actually cause an anxiety response, and it can cause nightmares, it can cause disturbances in the mental sphere. And so I think what Spirit's trying to say is that, and what this guidance is saying, is that we really need to be conscious of our thoughts as we're, staying at home and not participating in the rat race like we used to, and we're working from home, and essential and non-essential workers alike, that ultimately, um, we need to be aware of what we're thinking about our thinking. Metacognition, right? Like noetics, like, what are we telling ourselves right before we go to bed? My mom, for example, keeps having nightmares, and then she realized on our walk this morning that her nightmares may be triggered by her overstimulating her mind right before she goes to bed, because she's playing her Elevate game, which is a game that my mom, my dad, and I all use, where it's like a brain training function. And so she really uses that a lot. She uses her design um app, interior design work, and she's playing Words with Friends and whatever, and she's overstimulating her mind to the point that when she goes to sleep, it's just like a reel of her fears playing over and over in her mind. And so I think that's a good kind of a note to talk about with staying at home and being kind of reclusive at times. With like the Four of Pentacles, I would say that's a reclusive energy. That, you know, I think we need to see that if we think of our mind as something that needs to be fed. So when we're feeding our mind something, that's just like feeding our body something. We are what we eat, is the old saying. But we also can say we are what we feed our mentality. So I would like an advice card from the same deck, from the Star Tarot, about how we can be more mindful throughout the day, and how we can best guide our thoughts toward the illumination of our aspirations and our hopes rather than our fears and anxieties. Let's see this one. Okay, great. Oh, another nine. So we have the Nine of Swords, and now we have the Nine of Pentacles. This is brilliant. So this is the energy of being secure on our own, being luxurious and expensive, and being thankful, and being like autonomous and independent. And the Nine of Pentacles is an energy of, you know, you're in a garden and all around you are these beautiful and blissful scenes. And here there's like a black and white tiger, and she's holding a dove, and she's got this, these flowers, these roses around her head. And that to me makes a lot of sense with respect to, the overall theme, I think, of 2020 so far has been reassessing our priorities. And priority number one for many people has been how to get by. But ultimately, we think sometimes that we're not good enough, but the Nine of Pentacles is here to show us we are good enough, that we are, abundant beings filled with prosperous ideas, and we all culminate together in the awareness that we don't need external factors like, what's gone on with the coronavirus, what's gone on with racial unrest, the fires we had, and still popping up occasionally, or any of the big hot button political issues. We don't need these external factors to dictate how we feel about ourselves and our lives. We can exist independently of all that, and while considering that, yes, they are important parts of daily life, but we can more mindfully and more conscientiously encounter this big cosmic extant awareness that we can love ourselves as we, carry on in this life, so readily that all these outside elements don't need to affect us in here. I think a big, tool I've used in the past has been guided meditations on YouTube. These guided meditations on YouTube, for meeting your spirit guides, your spirit animal, your twin, like a twin soul, twin flame kind of idea, or, you know, um, getting more relaxed. All those different elements are really, tools and guideposts along our journey to a greater awakening. And so the next thing I want to ask my cards is, how can we have more peace about what goes on in the outside world? I'm going to draw from the Rider Waite this time too. Again, how can we have greater peace amidst the chaos? Spirit, thank you. Okay, balance our emotions, King of Cups, right? And be a master, be a king over our fundamental truths, and be so at peace with how we react and respond and interact with others that we just sit back and we observe rather than judge harshly. I think good discernment is the way that judgment should be viewed. If it's viewed positively, if it's constructive judgment, it's like discernment. And then judgment that is harsh and overwhelming is something that we want to heal within ourselves. We don't necessarily want to cut the cord, we want to heal the cord, heal that etheric cord. Because I've heard too, I've read this and I've seen it happen where people cut a cord with some kind of part of their life, like an ex or like a former career job situation, and then the cord grows back because really, we did the whole process of it wasn't cut at the root. It wasn't uprooted, it was just cut and it grew back like a lot of plants do in that situation. So, really to have inner peace, we need to heal ties to people, places, and things and situations that have caused us burden before, or that have contributed to any kind of sadness or loss or anxiety or despair or defeat or doubt or woe or whatever. And so I think, yeah, mastering how we think about our thinking, how we feel about our feeling. Another key idea is that we just flow with life. We're not, there's that saying, what you resist persists. Um, that is really relevant here because when we are so hyper focused on outside stimuli, we forget that we are co-creators of our reality, that we can, like Napoleon Hill, think and grow rich. We can use our mind and our heart. In Proverbs it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he or she or whatever. And that is so important to focus on because, we are such guideposts in our own lives toward, our dreams. And I've been implementing this tool recently of scripting where you write down what you want to manifest as though it's already happened. And really, that's such a profound way to go about it because we we feel the emotion as though as that beautiful event in our life has already transpired, and then that kind of tricks the ego into like not well tricks and convinces rather to the ego that what we really want is already here, so the ego doesn't need to stand in the way anymore and it can be along for the joyride. You know what I mean? And so that is such an important concept to, I'll even read you a little bit of mine. Okay, I wrote this yesterday. you can often want to start with, I am so happy and grateful now that. So mine says, I am so happy and grateful now that I have hundreds of followers on my business Instagram and Facebook pages. See, that's a tangible goal. We don't want to say that we're going to grow to like 1 million in just like a couple months or whatever. That's not as realistic nearly at all as saying just like some hundreds of them. That's more realistic. And it's not so realistic that it doesn't seem like it's big enough. It does seem big to go from, I have like on this Facebook page on Ellen Enchantment Divinations, I have like 152 people who like it or something. And then on my business Instagram, I have like 83, I think, who follow me. But to grow to like 100 or 200 or 300, that doesn't trigger doubt in me because it doesn't seem as attainable, right? It does seem attainable. So, and like this one woman, one young woman on YouTube talked about how she grew a cup size or two in her bra, and she wanted that. She wanted to manifest that, and she did, but it wasn't like so out of the ballpark of normal, of real or possible. She didn't say she wanted to go from like a B to an F. She just went from one size or two sizes up, and that was more realistic. So she didn't feel like, oh no, I don't know, I don't think that would ever work, because that actually undoes the power of the manifestation you're trying to achieve. Another part I said was, I put, I enjoy, like I really believe, like I enjoy financial abundance and a thriving and fun relationship with my daughter, which is very possible because we already have a good relationship with her. But now it's just like a step or several up where she and I have more time together. My daughter is 6 and she is just so like wonderful and brilliant, and I'm so proud of her. She just won like a couple like taekwondo trophies. She's in ballet. She's got, mostly virtual schooling with her prep school with her dad and his fiance, and it's amazing. But what's really been really hard for me lately is that she doesn't want to believe in any higher power anymore because her other side of the family may be having some kind of an influence over her with respect to that. And, I just really want her to just love that magic and miracles are real in her sight, like she used to. She used to be like the loudest, you know, singer in her class when she was in preschool. She went to a Lutheran preschool, and so she taught herself and she was taught about, Jesus and love and unconditional grace and all those things. And now she's just saying like, I don't know if I'm gonna make up my mind about this, mom, until I'm older. And I'm like, okay, that's a big thought. That's an interesting idea. I agree with that, Amelia, but ultimately I also want you to, I'm sending intentions toward her to show that she does believe in like the supernatural again. One time she even told me that she, sees ghosts, and I'm like, dude, at least that's like something, but that was a couple of years ago. And I want her to just love the majesty and the magic of life. I even like to say, magic is fuel for miracles. That's in my signature line in my email address. When I send an email, it says, magic is fuel for miracles. So I really feel like when Amelia and I played with my Lenormand Oracle deck, she was so into it. It was beautiful, and we made like stories out of it. So now I'm kind of thinking like, hey, maybe I should consider not just teaching tarot to adults and oracle and all that, but maybe involving kids in it. I think that would be an amazing idea. Because having the ability to tap into your intuition at any given time, at any given situation, at any age, that's like hearing the voice of God just come through you. And that's one of the reasons I'm so attracted to the idea of, the cards and cardomancy and divination and all that, is that it's a seeking path of wisdom. So I wanted to share that scripting tool with you because I think it is such an amazing thing to have in your tote bag, your arsenal. and just to lovingly display to yourself with the emotion that something's already happened that you want. Again, that convinces the ego that it's possible, just like when a runner is imagining the series, the running in his mind or in her mind, then the same kind of like neurons and synapses and dendrites are going off in the brain as though they're actually running. There's that whole study about that. So the last card, because this, I'm going to about another 4 minutes. The last card I want to draw is something that I said last week when I did this live. Is how can we go forward knowing all these different tools? What is the best way to approach the new normal that we're going into after the election, or whatever, and in these coming months, just finishing off 2020, what is something that we need to be aware of going forward? What can we embrace? What can we adjust? Something like that. So I think I'm going to pull from the Star Tarot again. Beautiful. Okay, Knight of Pentacles. This Doreen Virtue calls this card, it's not her deck, but she refers to this card as the Guardian Angel card. And the Knight of Pentacles is a slow moving manifestation focused energy that is so beautiful to me because, like, it's like an offer. Like, knights often offer something in in the tarot deck. They often, like, Knight of Cups offers like a Prince Charming kind of love. The Knight of Swords offers news and swiftness and, maybe some cutting words at times. And the Knight of Wands is kind of like a flash in the pan, kind of a quick fire love, but it's, maybe a one and done, hit 'em and quit 'em kind of a vibe. That's like it's like a player card, kind of the Knight of Wands. But the Knight of Pentacles is a stable foundation. And it's so great to imagine that this is the key to our growth, and ultimately it is a way to go forward confidently in the direction of our dreams. The Knight of Pentacles is reassuring us that although it makes some time to sow the seeds, we will reap the reward, and it'll be 7 times 700. It'll be like very biblical, number 7 and 749, that really we can trust that if we put in the work now, if we are diligent, if we are seeking this sacred wisdom and understanding and clarity and vision, that our steps will have lasting impressions. The steps that we encounter as, next points in our path are ones that are so beautifully resounding in our soul. The pentacles are often, yes, about home, hearth, career, job, car, house, money, health, all that stuff. But really, another key idea of the pentacles is that it's rooted, it's grounded. Just like all these things, like money is material, pentacles are all materials. But it's rooted and it's not gonna be shaken. It's a foundational truth. So this foundational truth is so important for us to realize as we continue going forward. We don't have to fear the unknown. There's been a lot of unknown this year, and we can just be receptive with Hathor, right? It says, allow yourself to receive. This will increase your intuition, energy, and ability to give to others. So, yeah, a garden does not reject seeds, right? It just absorbs them and helps them be nurtured and be cultivated and germinated so that it can sprout forth this beautiful flower. And that is a key idea here. It's that what the seeds that we're planting now will allow us great harvest later. So, people are starting businesses right now, right? That are so online focused so much too. Those are some of the most successful businesses out there that are on YouTube and Etsy and Facebook and online, websites and YouTube and all these different platforms that are so, rooted in what humanity is experiencing right now. And when we ground in that and we know, like, hey, like, a business I started this year during COVID is now, like, 3 years later, or 10 years later, whatever, so blossoming and so enriched in my own personal manifestation that there's nothing that I can't do because I trusted in spirit. And you surrender the control, you give. I mean, doesn't mean you can't co-create consciously with spirit. Surrender to me means that you give up the need to know everything right here, right now. You let go of the wheel in a lot of respects and trust that your guides and your angel team will be there to guide you. So that's why I think the Knight of Pentacles and the Receptivity card complement each other nicely, because the Garden of Yes is what the universe is in my eyes. The Garden of Yes. Whatever you plant will reap will be reaped later, and you will sow even better harvest next time because you have the wisdom of the awareness that what you plan with spirit. I mean, this house wasn't built by Buddha or Jesus or Krishna or whatever. This house was built by human hands, but its ability to do that, its ability to be made, was anointed by Source. So we co-create with spirit all the time, and I know and I'm assured that when we return in some form or another to our lives as they were before COVID, will never be the same. I mean, that's just the way of it. But it doesn't have to be a drag. It can be a learning experience. Sometimes lessons are expensive, right? But really, we can just trust and rest and know that the lessons being taught now are going to apply in the future. And I just want to say thank you guys who've watched and who will be watching when this live is posted. I so appreciate you. You're the reason I do this. You are so beautiful and your souls are vibrant, and I'm thankful for you. And I just want to close with this benediction. Thank you, dear Divine, for all that you've shown us today. Please just continue to work in our lives. I know I don't have to ask that, you automatically will, but just be a constant reminder to all of us that peace belongs to those who have stillness in their souls, and that stillness and that soul work is worthwhile. And just show this encouragement and support to all who this video will reach. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, everybody. Ciao.